Hey guys, Derek from SalonOps here. Just wanted to go over a brief training course on how to use our new SalonOps Oracle dashboard. What this program is something that's come about as of years of frustration from my part in dealing with various salon softwares in our own salons, and then having to jump over to QuickBooks or some other accounting program and having to go on to my accountant on a regular basis. I thought that we had to come up with something that was different, that could give me a visual picture of where we are from month to month with the salon and our expenses and our income and things like that. Now, as a coach, I walk into most of our coaching clients and I say to them, so tell me, what is this percentage of your income? What is your profit? Things like that. And most owners can't tell me. And so that's why we came up with this product. We feel it is the bridge between salon softwares and your accountant. And it's a really important bridge because it gives you 9 categories that you need to keep an eye on based on industry percentages that we've developed over years of research as to targets for those categories. So I could go on and ramble on and on and on, but let me show you the software and some of the tools that you're going to get with our package. Okay, so obviously if you're here, you've already seen SalonOps. What we do is we're a coaching company. We predominantly coach in how to make more money in your salon, but we felt we needed to jump in and show you how to manage the money that is coming into the salon. So again, here's this tool. Let me get into it. This is what you're going to get right here. You can see on the dashboard, I have it up. I have it minimized right now, but I'll expand it so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the software. Inside the software, this is the actual dashboard, but I'm going to go to the home button, which is where you'll start. Okay, so the home button is your, let's call it your control screen. Okay, from here you can go to your dashboard, which is your visual representation. It says here, this is where you see the magic happen. And it's true. This is really, after you put your data in, what you want to look at, because it's going to make your brain trigger and visually say, hey, that's a key to me. So then here you have your data. This is where you're going to enter your monthly expenses. Here you have your income. This is where you're going to put your total income for the month. No expenses. Whatever comes through the door in the salon, this is what you're going to enter as income. If you're using Millennium, you can look on your MA225 and just look at the total income and put it in this category. If you're using Booker or some of the other softwares, they also have a monthly report where you can look at your overall income for the month. This right here is subcategories. Basically what it is it's a breakdown of, we have a column for miscellaneous expenses. This is where you plug those in and it'll give you a calculation so you don't have to sit and add them all up on a piece of paper. So, okay, so let me get back to the dashboard and I'll show you what it is. Okay, so we're in the dashboard. Okay, so here on this chart, you're going to see the current month that you're in here. See, it says January. The year you're in. You can change years, dates, things like that. But this is always the current month that you're in. Here is your profit for the month, obviously. Here is your profit percentage of income. So this 27%, that's a really strong percentage towards income. This is your year to date. What this does is, as you add month to month to month, this keeps a tab on all your expenditures year to date. Okay, over here is your columns. If you don't want to look at the pie charts, you can look right here. Rent, 7%. Now, all these percentages are the percentage of the total amount of income you brought in. Down here is the month you're in. These are our gauges. These are the categories that we've identified that are the most important to running your salon. Now what these, let's call them speedometers, do is they're all based on scientific data as to where you should be in the industry percentage-wise to be a profitable salon. So the green is where obviously you want to be. Yellow is, it's okay. Orange is starting to get to be a concern. And red, you know you're running too high in that particular category. This is the percentage of your overall income that you're spending on that category. So they're pretty self-explanatory. 7% towards rent. This one's 38% towards payroll, for almost 5% towards miscellaneous, and we'll get back to that. I'll show you where those calculations and what goes under miscellaneous. Utilities, bank credit card charges, so that's going to be your credit card machine and your monthly bank charges. Professional products, this is going to be your back bar, color, things like that you're using in a salon. Retail products, this is the revolving retail money you spend on a monthly basis. Obviously, you're always going to have some money tied up into retail stock. Whether you're making money or not, you always have to reinvest a portion of that money. Taxes, this is your sales tax and the employer's portion of payroll tax, not the employee's portion, just the employer's portion and your sales tax. Profit, self-explanatory. Obviously, you want it in green. And we jump down here. These are your monthly expenses. What these do, they give you a 12-month running average. And they have simple green bar and a red bar. You want to be below the green bar. Well, really, you want to be below the red bar. If you're over the red bar, you know that column or that category is a problem. So you want to try and keep it below the red bar. If you're below the green bar, you're ideal. You're really knocking it out of the park. Okay? So you'll see how some of these work. They're all based on percentages again. So January, you can see this column right here was at 8%. So that's ideal. Payroll was getting a little towards the high side, so I would be keeping an eye on it. Miscellaneous was ideal. Utilities, you don't have a lot of control over utilities unless you're negotiating with different companies, or you can figure out ways to save by putting in, I don't know, different light bulbs or whatever the case might be. But this is usually eaten up by your blow dryer costs running all day. Bank credit card charges, we're just over the green line with that one, so we're okay. But in reality, these days you have bank and credit card companies that are just beating each other up to meet or beat or give you a better price. So that's something you want to check, because if you're paying, I don't know, 3.5% on a credit card and you can drop 1%, and you're making $30,000 a month on that credit card machine, that's a big savings by dropping 1%. Professional products, this is a one we definitely want to keep an eye on. This is your color usage and your back bar, basically. You know, you'll hear some of the major players in the companies such as Wella and L'Oreal and things like that. They'll tell you 8% is probably the average in the industry that you want to obviously keep it below 8%. Retail products. This is your revolving stock. It's usually going to be in the green unless you have a high expenditure. So it is something. All these red lines are something to keep an eye on if all of a sudden you see something out of whack. Taxes. The taxes, again, I'll get back to that. I had somebody ask me, actually state to me, oh, that's wrong. You automatically pay 15% towards payroll taxes. That's not true. The employee pays half of that. You pay half of it. So out of your total income, you're usually only spending on payroll taxes around 7.5%. You also have to add in there that you have sales taxes or local taxes, things like that. So the red line is 8%. If you're at 8% or above, you know, you need to keep an eye on it. Profit. This is a big one, obviously. We all want to have the maximum profit. But I don't know if a lot of you know, but in the industry, the average profit right now is below 5%. So 90% of salons out there are making 5% or less in profit. So to me, they're on the verge of going out of business. So we need to change that. We need to change the industry. Okay, so that is your dashboard. Pretty self-explanatory, gives you a good visual as to where you are. Obviously, this is going to be the key. Right here in the green, the payroll. The red is where you're going to keep an eye on. Those are your two major expenditures, are payroll and professional products. Those are two things I always keep a big eye on. And of course, I jump back up and I look at profit. Okay, so now let me go to some of the other pages. We'll go back to the home screen. We can jump into data, enter your monthly expenses here. So we jump over here. This is where you're going to enter how much you've spent on each one of those categories. So at the end of the month, you need to take, I don't know, probably take you a half hour to fill this whole thing out. So you jump in here, you put your rent in here. I already left January. I gave you pre-filled in numbers. You can just change them. So that's your rent, your payroll. Now your payroll is total payroll minus the employer's taxes. Not the employee's taxes, minus the employer's taxes. Miscellaneous. Notice I can't click on this here. Miscellaneous is figured out on another sheet and will plug in here automatically. Utilities. Utilities, self-explanatory. This is going to be your electric, your water, and your telephone bill. Bank credit card charges. That's going to be your banking fees and your credit card fees. Professional products. Obviously, you all know what you're doing. This is your back bar, your color usage, things that you're not making money on that you're expending money on. Retail products, this is your revolving money that you're replenishing your retail stock with. Taxes, self-explanatory. Again, I'm going to get back and say that this is your side of the taxes, not the employee side. So you're going to take whatever is on, let's say if you're using ADP as a payroll service, whatever percentage of that you're paying, you put in here plus your sales taxes. And this fills in itself, the profit line. You cannot modify it. It's calculated on everything else. And you'll see, you scroll down, it's just year by year, all the same. You have your 12 months, and that calculates into your dashboard. Next one's income. This is where you put your total income for the month. So there it is, January, February. You would just put your income in there, and that's it on that sheet. Subcategories. Subcategories are your miscellaneous expenses. So you'll see in January, obviously, you may not have every one of these expenses in every month, but you can fill them in. It automatically calculates. You don't have to do anything else after you put the numbers in. So you have legal, accounting, advertising, repairs, office supply, so on and so forth. A lot of these you're going to have are recurring payments, probably your insurance, any dues membership. If you have equipment leases or purchases, you put them in here. Okay, accounting and legal. I like to put my accountant and my legal people on a retainer, so it's a monthly fee, so it's easy to find out what that amount is and plug it in there. Dues membership, you might have computer software dues, you might have membership to professional association, something like that. You put that in here. Licensing, you should figure out whatever your licensing is for the year, whether it be through the state, local, whatever that case might be. You put that in here. Food and entertainment, you can put if you're buying coffee for the salon, snacks for the salon, you're having bridal parties, you're taking the staff out, whatever you want, you can put it in there. So all of those are here. There's even a category for auto if you want to write your auto off under the business, and year by year, month by month. And that's all you plug in. Once you put in all your data, you go back to the dashboard, and it'll give you exactly where you are in the salon, in running the salon. I can't tell you how key this is to always know your numbers. Okay, I'm going to jump around a little bit here, and I'm going to explain, a lot of you are probably thinking to yourself, well, some of those I can't control. Well, let me explain it a little bit. Rent. Obviously, your rent is probably a fixed amount, and it goes up by a certain amount. If you're going to be a new salon owner and you're using this, you have some targets to be under already to negotiate your rent based on your business plan and what you think you're going to be bringing in. Okay, this is at 7% right now. Really, rent as an average should be between 8 and 13% is the averages. If you can get it below that, fantastic. If you're above that, you're paying too much. And the only way to change that in relation and have this arrow come down is by bringing in more income. Obviously, your rent percentage would go down if you bring in a higher amount of money. So that's the only ways to control rent. Payroll. I'm going to jump back to this one because we do a couple different payroll systems and teach a couple different ones. And that's a big one, pretty complicated. Miscellaneous. This is your one on the other board, the other worksheet that I showed you. This one you should keep a close eye on because you can go crazy, or you can use it very wisely. And by using it very wisely, you keep most expenses minimal, and whatever is left over, you have some target percentages right here that you should play with. And if you have some extra money in this column, you should put it towards your advertising. Utilities, these are pretty much fixed. Obviously, the only way to get better rates is to negotiate with other companies, bring a new company in, maybe a different electric company, a different phone company, things like that. But these are your targets, so try and keep them in line. Bank credit card, I talked about this earlier. Credit card is where you can save a tremendous amount of money just by shaving off 1% on your credit card rate. So if you're locked in a contract, sometimes it pays to get out of that contract and just go with a new credit card company altogether if you can save. Again, tell them I want to meet or beat, and you tell them you want to beat because you want to save money. You just don't want the same thing that you're getting now. And they'll beat up on each other these days. Professional products. Okay. So this is our back bar and our color, basically. Two ways to save on this. Number one, in my experience, and I've owned a lot of salons, the most important thing to do is to not be shy. You need to get on with whoever your manufacturer rep is and tell them, I can do better somewhere else. I want my prices lowered. I can tell you I'm not going to use the name of the company, but I will tell you I was paying $7.85 for a tube of color, and when I was done negotiating with them, it was $4 for that same tube of color. So that shows the savings you can get, and those savings go a long way. I never paid for back bar. I did when we started, but after a short while, I got all my back bar for free. And you know what? They want to see volume, and there's ways to have volume. And I'll explain those towards the end, how to increase your volume, how to increase your sales, which is important. Once you have the sales, then you can go to these manufacturers and say, hey, stop jerking me around. I am the big dog on the block and I want a discount. Okay. Retail products, you're not going to see much of a discount there. If you get a discount over here with color and things like that, you can probably also transfer that same discount to the retail side. So again, when I cut those color costs, I in turn also had a 30% discount on retail products from that same company. So those are some things you can do. Taxes, this is what it is. There's no negotiating. There's no nothing. So you need to increase your dollar amount to keep this in line where it needs to be. Profit, no negotiation. That ties into our payroll talk. So let's get back and talk about payroll first, and then we'll talk about profit. So there are a few different systems of payroll that you can run. Most owners run commission. I don't know where or who came up with the bright idea of having commissions, but they were the dumbest person that ever walked the planet, because there is no company on this planet that you can walk into and say, I want 50 or 60% of your sales and get that. I mean, come on, let's think about that, folks. If we went into a corporate job and said, I want 50% of your sales for everything I bring through the door. Do you think they'd really do it? They'd laugh you out the door. The problem is that owners get into salons, they buy them, and they just follow what everybody else does. And what everybody else does is wrong. I can tell you right now it's wrong. If you are paying 50 or 60% commission, you will go out of business at some point. Okay, I've had talks with some of the biggest business owners in this industry. Beth Minardi and I had lunch one day, and we were talking about this, and it was funny. We both came up with the exact same number. And that number is, if you are paying more than 40%, you are on a track to go out of business. And it's a fact. I've talked to some of the biggest in the industry, and they know this. If you are paying more than 40, you are on track to go out of business unless you are charging fees for back bar and product and other things. But frankly, in most states in the United States, now I'm probably talking to people from other countries also, but in the United States, it is illegal to take deductions for product and other things. So your payroll is very important. Also, remember in the United States, if you are paying commission, you must at least meet minimum wage. You do not want to get audited and not paying at least minimum wage to that employee for all the hours they've been in the salon. Don't think that you can give them 50 or 60% and not pay them anything when they're not busy. It just doesn't work that way. The first time you get audited, you will have a huge fine. So what you need to do is you need to figure out that you're at least meeting that minimum wage if you're paying commission. If you're not meeting that minimum wage, then you need to pay them for the hours they worked. And it's just something you need to do because you don't want to get in trouble and you don't want to end up being audited and potentially being fined and going out of business. Now, I am a big proponent of hourly wages plus bonuses. And the reason I say this is, why pay commission for people to not be productive? The way I see it is I want somebody there. If I want them in the salon, I want them being paid and being productive, whether they have somebody in the chair or not. They are an employee, and I think they should be treated like an employee. So I like hourly and setting up bonuses with those bonuses being based on goals. So if you're interested in our coaching programs, I can explain a little more about that. There are some other programs out there, but basically they're all the same. There's only two ways to pay people, and it's either hourly or commission. There is no in between. It's hourly or commission. Sometimes there's a hybrid. I like to call the hybrid, though not hourly and commission, I call it hourly and bonus. But the bonus should be for meeting goals only. So that's how you control your payroll costs. Now, on to profit. In the United States, most salons, I said this earlier, are making between 0 and 5% profit margin. As a matter of fact, there's a industry report that you can check every year. It costs a bit of money, but it's worth it. It's called the Salon Green Book. And a lot of times you can look up past ones, and it's free. So by all means, everybody take a look at that. And you'll see the state of our industry, the real state, not the one that everybody's running around. Look, we have too many people running around purporting themselves to be rock stars and giving product demos and going on stage and things like that. The majority of those people are doing that because their own salons aren't turning a profit, and they need to be on the road to make that additional money. And that's pretty sad because our industry has really gone downhill, and we need to fix it. No doubt about it. But anyway, profit is profit, and I want to see you make 10% or more without you being behind a chair. So what it comes down to is when you purchase a business and put your life savings into it, you want to make money from that business, not buy yourself a job and be chained to your chair to keep the doors open. So some of our systems can teach you how to do that. Obviously, this is one of our systems that can help you maintain your costs and hopefully just with this, turn a profit. So on that note, I wanted to get this done and get it out to everybody. We'll go back to the home page, And SalonOps is the name of our company. We predominantly coach in membership systems. And the reason why this is so awesome is, number one, there's no more me, and stylists saying that's my customer, because the customer is under contract with the salon. So if a stylist leaves, the customer is still with your salon. So it creates a team atmosphere. Number two, you have a guaranteed income. Number three is, if you don't want to be behind a chair anymore and you have enough memberships, you don't have to be. You can walk around the salon, teach your employees, make sure they're doing things the way you want them done without being chained to your chair. So again, I thank you for purchasing our software. And if you're interested in any of our other systems or coaching, your first month is free if you've purchased this software. So I encourage you to take us up on that offer, and you can reach us at 848-992-9733. Have a great night. Thank you.